Hey guys, I am at CVS for a drive-thru self-swab COVID test. It is my first test and I was exposed. I have very teeny tiny mild symptoms that I feel like it's just allergies, but my husband is positive, so pretty sure I probably have it and want to get tested just to know. But I'm staying home anyway. And I am in the car. I am driving the car. First time since February, and that time I drove twice in a weekend, and besides that I hadn't driven in like a decade. So I don't know if I'm more nervous for the COVID test because you have to go like way up into your like sinuses, or to be driving, but kind of nervous for both. I'm like shaking. So anyway, stay tuned. I'm gonna film the swab. Here we go. Sorry.
Hi, are you here for a test?
Yes.
What's the first and last name?
Heather.
Alright, my dear, I just gotta get some paperwork together. Give me one moment.
Gotta do some paperwork apparently. I will link this mask below. It's by Yovo Naturals and it's amazing. It's washable, it's reusable, it's like really good filtering. Love these masks. We have them for everyone in the family.
Okay, so before I can move forward, I just need to get a picture of your photo ID. You don't have to be very close to the glass. You may have to like reach down or open the door and look out. I love your pink jacket.
Thanks.
This is your first time doing a self-administered with us?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through the whole process.
She's gonna take a picture of my ID through the glass.
Go ahead, grab your test kit, and I just want you to take the plastic bag out and set the brown bag aside for the moment. And on that paper, I put a sticker on the top left corner. Make sure your name and date of birth are correct.
Yes.
Perfect. And then grab the vial with the red lid and check the information on that as well.
Yes.
Good. All right, so just set that aside like maybe in your cup holder, easily accessible, because we're going to need that in just a moment. And grab the cotton swab out of here.
This one.
Perfect. Now, before we open that, I'm going to go over what we're going to do, and then we'll actually do it.
Okay.
So, when it's time, you'll insert the Q-tip into your nasal canal. When it's inserted, I shouldn't be able to see any of the top part, but it shouldn't be further than that either. And then you'll do 3 swirls, not like this, but like this. Everyone does that. So you'll go the 3 swirls, and then you'll hold it in the inside of your nasal canal for 15 seconds. I'll count for you, and I'll let you know when to switch sides.
Okay.
It's the same swab in both nostrils.
Okay.
Alright, so go ahead and open that up. Make sure you open it from the stick end. And we don't want anything but your nose touching that other end.
So, okay. Oh god. Alright. Okay.
And are you having any congestion at all?
A little, but nothing major, no.
Is there a side that's more congested?
No.
Okay, so then you can start on either side. So when you're ready, you can insert it. Okay, and then you'll do the 3 swirls. And hold it.
Okay. It's not bad.
It's definitely not as bad as everyone thinks. Alright, go ahead and switch sides.
Okay.
When you're ready, go ahead. And 3 swirls.
1, 2, oh my god. Ah!
So hold it.
And 3 swirls and then hold it 15 seconds. Oh. Lovely.
Alright, go ahead and take that out.
What?
Now I'm going to have to break the bottom half of that stick off. So it's about midway, you'll see a breaking point.
Okay. Break it. Alright.
Okay, that half a stick can go in the trash. And we're going to just grab that vial, get the twist top, and just make sure when you open it you don't spill any of the liquid out.
Don't spill. Alright.
And cut side it first.
Alright.
Perfect.
And put it back on.
And then that's going to go back in the plastic bag. There are 2 sections to the inside of that bag. One section has all the paperwork. We want the vial to go on the other section by itself. Like there's like a clear divider. providers.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now in a moment, I'm going to have you pull up. You see the white box on the wall there?
Yeah.
So I'm going to have you place your test kit in the box.
Okay.
And then in the brown paper bag, there's a sanitizing wipe. If you could just wipe off anything that you touch on the box, just to leave it clean for the next person.
Okay.
I sent a link to the email address you signed up for the appointment with. Make sure you activate the link within 24 hours. You'll sign up for what's called a My Chart.
Okay.
And you'll get your results usually 2 to 3 days right online there.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. I hope you have a great day. Good luck.
Thank you. Okay. So, I had to get out of the car to put it in the little box. So that's done, and so I have to activate the link within 24 hours. They're gonna email me, and then in a few days I will get the results. Honestly, I don't know what I was so nervous about. Driving was easy peasy. The test was easy peasy. They walked you through it. They told you exactly what to do. They counted for you. It was really easy. It kind of tickled. It felt sensitive up there, but not at all painful. A little uncomfortable. I mean, it wasn't fun, but it didn't hurt at all. So I hope I did it right. I hope I went far enough. I think she would have told me if I wasn't going far enough. But you just go slow and gentle, and it's no big deal. We'll see what the results say. It's kind of crazy. My husband doesn't know of anyone that exposed him. He started one night. He was super tired and went to bed early. And then the next day he had some congestion, like nothing more than a very mild cold. And he was like, well, is this COVID? And I was like, go get tested. So he went and got tested, and it took 3 days, and the symptoms continued. It was basically just a super mild cold with congestion and no cough, no fever, very mild fatigue. But the results came back positive, and we were shocked. And then he had to go through the process of calling everyone that he could possibly have been around for, 10 minutes at a time, whatever, even masked. He wanted to let everyone know, all the clients and stuff he'd seen. So we kind of look back at the period, because it's 2 days before your symptoms start that you're super contagious already. And we looked at that period, and then after his symptoms started, he stayed home completely. So there wasn't anyone that was a high risk of exposure, but he still went ahead and told everyone. And then I started getting very mild congestion, and nothing more than I would get just from allergies around the house though. But because he has it, I'm like, I must have it, right? I mean, how would I not get it from him? Because we share a bed, and we were around each other in the house, and I don't know. So really curious to see if I have it or not. But this just goes to show how mild or non-existent symptoms can be, which is good on the one hand, because a lot of people don't get super sick. But on the other hand, you maybe don't know that you're sick and spreading it around like crazy. Maybe you go to a party, maybe you see your family at Thanksgiving, you're unmasked while you're eating, you don't know that you're about to get sick and you're already contagious. It's really scary, guys, because yes, for most of us, it's super mild. Maybe it's like a cold, a bad cold, like flu. But for a lot of people, we're almost 300,000 people in the US have died from this, guys. So a lot of people get this serious, in the hospital, miserable, dying. Don't take this lightly. Don't be going to dinners and to see your family without a mask on, and be careful how long you're together and stuff. It's just really scary. You're super contagious already 2 days before your symptoms start, and that is bonkers. There's no going back. You can try to trace, and the tracers called my husband, I think it was 2 days after he tested positive, after he got the results. So that was 5 days after he got tested, which was already a day after his symptoms started and several days after he was contagious. So it was a week already he'd been contagious by the time the tracers called, and he missed the phone call, and they haven't called back. So they're super busy, I guess, and it's up to you to do your own tracing, basically. Download the app, the COVID exposure app. It pings and remembers anonymously who you were around for at least 10 minutes. And then if you punch in that you're COVID positive, it'll alert all those people anonymously, but just hey, FYI, a week ago you were exposed. Really cool way to help you know if you need to quarantine and stuff, because the tracers are bombarded. So it's up to you guys. Be responsible. Do the right thing. It took a full week, but my results are finally in. And drumroll please, I am COVID negative. Like, I'm really shocked. A not detected negative test result for this test means that SARS-CoV RNA was not present in the specimen above the limit of detection, but that it also says negative results from pooled testing should not be treated as definitive. If the patient's clinical signs and symptoms are inconsistent with a negative result or results are necessary for patient management, then the patient should be considered for individual testing. So I guess it was allergies, or is allergies after all. Really messed with my head. My husband was positive. Over the course of the week while I was waiting, one of my kids had like a 24-hour bug that we all assumed was COVID as well. She had a high fever and throwing up. And then the next 2 days, like my other kids had kind of tummy ache, and I had a random tummy aches here and there and my allergies, and I don't know, we just assumed it was all COVID. But now I'm like, is it just my husband? I don't know, but the tracer finally did call us about my husband. They tell you to quarantine for 2 weeks from the last exposure you had to the patient. And we never quarantined from my husband, so she was like, okay, when's the last day he was sick? And I'm like, I don't know, because it kind of went from like COVID, I guess, to regular allergies. So, which he always has stuffy nose and whatnot. So we kind of looked back at the last day that he was like extra snotty or tired, and then like added a few days past that as the day he was last sick, and then she added 2 weeks onto that. So since I'm negative, we now have to quarantine until December 2nd, me and the kids. My husband is free to go back to work. They okayed him to go back to work and go back to regular life. FYI, I guess this is what they tell all the COVID people. The CDC recommends at least 24 hours fever-free, at least 10 days since your symptoms started, and the symptoms are more or less gone. That doesn't mean gone, because some of the symptoms can linger for like a long time, like the loss of smell, or that's the thing with these tests, especially the rapids. But even with the PCR, there can be false positives and false negatives. So like, you really don't know 100%. And then there's the whole thing that you are contagious 2 days before symptoms start. So you could get a negative test and go to your holiday parties, your Thanksgiving dinner, your Christmas parties, your Happy New Year party, and then like the next day or 2 days later, you end up symptomatic, and then you test positive. Meanwhile, you expose all these people. So consider that you could be the one spreading at all these events, or someone else at the event spreading it to you. And maybe you or they or their parents or their great aunts or whatever aren't so lucky with the itty bitty baby kind of symptoms, and they get really sick or die. And there are also the lingering things like increased risk of blood clots and stuff that they're coming up with. So it's like, and that's not even like necessarily during the illness, it's like afterwards too, after you're recovered. So they just know so little about this. So guys, please, I'm begging you, don't go out to the parties, be careful, wear masks, don't go to events and stuff where people aren't wearing masks and are together inside. I know you love your family, I love mine too, but this is why we have to stay separate until the vaccine can get rid of this darn sickness. Anyway, still with the snottiness, I guess I should take some allergy medicine at this point. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have comments or tips or suggestions, leave them over in the community tab or over on social media, US Japan Fam, on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. You can catch me over there. I'd love to hear from you. If you took a COVID test, if you've had COVID, if you have any comments about this, would love to hear it. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.